Hi, my name's Alpacapin. This is Dear Esther, and from what I know, this game is a walking simulator, and it tells a very metaphorical story, right? You need to pay attention to fully understand it at the end, and you'll be left with a lot of questions, but it will be an unforgettable experience.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Place is decrepit. This place is abandoned. That's creepy. Wait, no, that's not creepy. Someone's learning chemistry. Living by the ocean's always so calming. Breeze, the wind, the smell of salty air. But it's also kind of creepy if you're just here by yourself. I took the higher path. I don't know what's down there on the left path. I'm kind of curious now, the more I think about it. Maybe it doesn't lead anywhere. Oh well. This game is goddamn beautiful. Look at it. What? What? But how will I continue my journey? Well, if that's how it's gonna be, we're not gonna go for the upper path. We're gonna check out this path. Hopefully we have better luck this time. Did you bring a coat with you? Whoever I'm playing as? It can get a bit chilly out here. Okay, we've come to yet another fork in the road. Will we go up?
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
What is this? A magic circle, but it's incomplete. Damn it, I hate this. I don't like this. Now I'm starting to wonder what's on the other path. Please end. Please end so I can have an excuse to go back.
I found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
It was so dark I thought that was a hole. I guess not. But it really seems like there's nothing on this path anymore. Ooh. Good. I have found my excuse. When you look out to the ocean like this, what do you think about? Me, I think about pirates and monsters. Leviathan, Kraken. The world's so full of wonder. There's so much that we don't know about, and when you look out to the ocean like this and you can't see anything, anything's possible. In the sky, who knows, maybe one day we'll find...
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings, and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
That's a good question. But it doesn't really seem like you're looking for an answer either, Mr. Narrator. As I was saying...
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
That's twice you've interrupted me now, Miss...
I quote directly.
3 times.
A motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles. Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
I'm starting to think you're doing this on purpose. Very well. I'll let you win this time. You've won the battle, but not the war. I'll keep quiet for a bit.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. I threw my arms wide and the cliff opened out before me, making this rough home. I transferred my belongings from the bothy on the mount and tried to live here instead. It was cold at night, and the sea lapped at the entrance at high tide. To climb the peak, I must first venture even deeper into the veins of the island, where the signals are blocked altogether. Only then will I understand them, when I stand on the summit and they flow into me, uncorrupted.
This is getting creepy. There's caveman drawings, but these caveman drawings look suspiciously similar to synapses. Oh, there's a little hole up there on the cliffside. I'm sure there's someone like holed up in there. Isn't that type of story just so romantic? You're running away from the world and you're holed up on the side of a cliff in a hole facing the ocean.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
Okay, things took a pretty morbid turn there, but what do you mean the water's so polluted? Look at this. Look at this. It's clear, you can see straight down. Doesn't that mean something? It must mean something. Giant rocks. Giant rocks erected out of nowhere. Some poor fellow had to carry these here. My condolences.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
That? Oh, that's one of those floaty mabobbers out on the ocean, guiding the sailors. How noble. Maybe I should have taken the other path. No. We will stand firm in our decision. Once it has been made, it cannot be unmade. We shall not stray from the path of the righteous. But we can go down here too. We got a second chance. Should we keep going?
I've begun to wonder if Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean. Into oblivion.
That's deep. I'm gonna call you Paul, Mr. Narrator. Is your name Paul? Can I call you that? You are a thinker, aren't you? You're a damn scholar. Put the rest of us to shame. What happened here? Explain. Enlighten me. It's so sad. To think this ship once sailed the great seas with sailors. But alas, 'tis no more.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Oh no.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Surely. What the heck? Hold on, I need to get a better view of this. Did he eat nor drink? Neither did he eat nor drink. I can't tell what the first word is. And neither did he eat nor drink. Makes you wonder. The wind sound effects sound so great in this game. I could fall asleep right here. If I just put down the controller, I could just take a nap. And I'm getting chilly just hearing it. Yet another fork in the road. I shall take the path less traveled.
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
Do you suppose I could fall in? Oh.
Come back.
Yes, sir. And this, my friends, these are where the maidens were sacrificed to appease the gods of this island. I keep hoping the next line of dialogue that Paul says is going to clear up some things, some questions I have, but no. I have a feeling it's just going to get...
climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
I forgot what I was gonna say. You're too good, Paul. You're too good. A little house up here on the hills. In an island in the middle of nowhere. Is this where you lived, Esther? Or is this where you lived, Paul?
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him, either.
That's so sad. I too long for a wife and children, a house with white picket fence and a dog. Maybe a cat. That's so sad. I hope things work out better for you next time. More paint? There's just one guy going around drawing lobsters and other stuff. This guy's vandalizing everything.
3 cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
I feel like if I keep going on this steep cliff edge, I'm gonna fall off. I don't want Paul to have to save me again. Let's go the proper path. Though I do wonder what's in there. Wait, is that another path in the back? No, no. Surely this must be the right one.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
The man speaking in riddles. Paul, you might as well be speaking in another language, because I don't understand a damn thing you're saying.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
Looks almost like a cross. Was that intentional? A ray of hope between all this carnage and this wreckage.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
There's nothing here, just like I expected, but that weird soundtrack that started playing gave me the heebie-jeebies. Let's go into the big mouth of the cave now. Goodbye, ocean. Goodbye, sandy beaches and wrecked boats. Hello, mossy cave bears. And mushrooms. And spiders. And insects. And magic crystals. It's giving off this light. It's Mother Nature's hole. And I've just entered it.
Did Jakobsen crawl this far? Can I identify the scratches his nails ruined into the rocks? Am I following him cell for cell, inch for inch? Why did he turn back on himself and not carry through to the ascent?
Hold on, my friend, you're lucky. I don't know if this is luck. You slid all the way down here, and you landed in the one place that wouldn't have broken your back. Look at this. Look at all these stalagmites. Or stalactites, I can never remember which one's which. And these candles, they're still going. I've got my eye on you. This is starting to turn paranormal. Dang, I was hoping to touch the glowy liquid in rocks. I guess not. You know, this island is completely barren. There's not been a single... I saw a bird. That's about all I saw.
I first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
But this is a dead end. Oh, sneaky, sneaky. Wait, no, this is the same path. I was supposed to take the other path. Oh, wow. Hold on, before I jump down, this is breathtaking. And so calming. Alright. Cannonball! Hold on. If this place, this cavern, were to be formed because of running water, that must mean this entire place could flood, especially this cavern right here. Where is this light coming from? Such a calming color. Ooh, you gotta be careful here, Paul. These are very slippery. Very, very slippery. Is this what the paint is made out of? Glow-in-the-dark mushrooms? Hmm.
I'm traversing my own death throes. The infection in my leg is an oil rig that dredges black muck up from deep inside my bones. I swallow fistfuls of diazepam and paracetamol to stay conscious. The pain flows through me like an underground sea.
What is this? What are you? Let's try going up first. Nope.
When I was coming round from the operation, I remember the light they shone in my eyes to check for pupil contraction. It was like staring up at a moonlit sky from the bottom of a well. People moved at the summit, but I could not tell if you were one of them.
I'm starting to question whether this island's even real. Everything might just be a manifestation of what this man has experienced. Behold, Damascus Fakin. Damascus Fakin. Whoa, these are some serious doodles. Someone took his time here. You must be like a science teacher, huh, Paul? Who is Esther to you? Away from being a city. What are these? They're roots. They're tentacles. This is amazing. Every single rock here on the ground, every single mushroom, every single tentacle, splash of paint had to be handcrafted. Think about the amount of time it would have to take. Good lord. But I haven't found the scuba gear equipment necessary to progress here. Alright, don't drown, Paul. Ugh. There has to be some treasure here. There's always treasure in those underwater levels. What? That man just moved. Hold on, I'm gonna try and get there, okay? Damn it. That's the third hole. The game's trying to tell me something. Underwater? Okay. Is this Esther's car? The one you were talking about? The drunk driver? This game, I can't. Ah. Forgive me, game. A yokel like me lacks the vocabulary to accurately describe your beauty. We've made it out, and in one piece, no less. I see. I see, I see. Let us take the left side path. The path less traveled.
The moon over the Sanford Junction, headlights in your retinas. Donnelly drove a grey hatchback without a bottom. All the creatures of the tarmac rose to sing to him. All manner of symbols crudely scrawled across the cliff face of my unrest. My life reduced to an electrical diagram. All my gulls have taken flight. They will no longer roost on these outcrops. The lure of the moon over the Sanford Junction is too strong.
I love how the game designs these circular winding paths that connect to each other. Not having to walk back is extremely nice. See, look, another path that connects. What's with all the candles? Who's going around lighting all of them? It doesn't even seem like there's anyone living on this island. These are for ships to dock, right?
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
Hold on. Does that mean Donnelly was the one that crashed into Esther? Let's check out this man cave first. Although I don't actually think there's anything in here other than this drawing. Holy crap, there's even drawings on that cliffside, on that mountainside. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. Okay, let's leave. Apparently something doesn't want us to be staring at those, the remnants of the car wreckage for too long.
Hall by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus, all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these signals routed like traffic through the circuit diagrams of our guts, those badly ridden boats torn bottomless in the swells, washing us forever ashore.
I can't believe it. There's actually someone named Paul in this story. I might need to call you something different now, Paul. Yeah, it's okay. Would be okay. If I jump down, there's no coming back. If I jump down, there's no coming back. Okay. I understand. Wait, no, there is a way back. Think you can fool me that easily? I saw it. Wait, these are bones. No, they're dead birds. That's even worse. These drawings, what are you trying to tell me? Huh? A light from heaven shone around. I couldn't see the last word, but that's okay. We got the message. It's a full moon today too. We're lucky.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
So heartbreaking. Every single one of these is a letter. Every single one of these is filled with love, with memories. Eggs. Eggs. A part of any hearty breakfast. I wonder if we can go into the ocean. I don't know what that was, but that was creepy. We could not see anything.
I will drag my leg behind me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
21 attempts? That's also the same number of attempts that you drove earlier on the M5. I'm assuming that's a car, but you were talking about 21 trips back and forth. All of your dialogue, even like those letters and the boats, they're all fragments of a story.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
I guess what I'm trying to say is it's all a part of your life. It's all a fragment, pieces here and there, and we're all outsiders. We can never experience it as Paul does. And even his letters to Esther, I'm assuming they were to Esther, they were just his interpretation and how he saw Esther.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
What I'm trying to say is it's all very romantic. And sad. And romantic. I keep thinking something's gonna jump out and scare me, but this is probably not that type of game, huh? Oh, I can feel
Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye Cromer. Goodbye Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
These all seem like bunkers. I wonder what time period this game is set in. When were these buildings constructed? Unauthorized personnel keep out. Well, it just so happens that I don't care. Who's gonna stop me? When you see a cliff face this high up, you kind of want to jump. Maybe just me. Oh, I can feel a slight breeze on my shoulders from the AC pumping in my room. I'm right here with you, Paul. I'm climbing this mountain with you. Jeez, talk about a view. Wow.
I have dredged these waters for the bones of the hermit, for the traces of Donnelly, for any sign of Jakobsen's flock, for the empty bottle that would incriminate him. I have scoured this stretch of motorway 21 times, attempting to recreate his trajectory, the point when his heart stopped dead and all he saw was the moon over the Sanford Junction. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all, and it was not his fault. It was the converging lines that doomed him. This is not a recorded natural condition. The gulls do not fly so low over the motorway and cause him to swerve. The paint scored away from his car in lines like an infection, making directly for the heart.
I almost can't leave this place. It's so mesmerizing. But alas, my stone-cold, cynical heart does not believe that this beauty can be imagined in anywhere other than the virtual plane, than from the imagination of humans that wish to fantasize about these beautiful scenes and imagery. Maybe I haven't experienced enough of the world to actually believe it.
Twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks.
This is the end of the line, my friend.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
I was gonna say don't do it, but it's already too late. I hope you have a fun time on the way down. We didn't die, we're flying.
Come back.
So Paul Jakobsen and Esther Donnelly, they were the same person. I thought they were different. I am still no closer to comprehending the the sequence of events. What happened to Esther? Esther died, I know that much. It was a car crash, I know that much. I think Paul Jakobsen is the narrator, is who we are. I think we killed Esther Donnelly. I don't know how. I don't know why. It was an accident, that much I know, but somehow we ended up on this island. Perhaps he isolated himself. Maybe in a way to repent? I don't know. Like so much of the world, there's so many stories. Everyone has a story, but we only get a little snapshot, a little sneak peek at it. We will never fully understand it. But the fact remains that there is a story. There is something that happened. This was a long journey, and I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed the game as much as I did. It's told a hell of a narrative. I'm gonna let the credits run for the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. See ya. Ooh, that's pretty cool. The title screen changed. Oh, and there's director's commentary too. We'll come back for this another day.